Yeah, go for it. Get yourself comfy, dude.
It's so fucking far.
Your kitchen is 10 steps away.
It's 10 steps I'll never be able to pass. That's
Huh?
more steps than a fucking AA.
I think, isn't that a 12-step program?
Oh shit.
And that is perfect. Calling all killers, this is the Kings of Kill podcast. I'm Zach.
I'm Steven.
And together we are the Kings of Kill, bringing to you the show dedicated to the love of all things horror. This week, we've got another rated R request from our killer fans. Steven, will you please announce to the world what we're talking about today?
John Carpenter's The Thing.
Ooh, I'm so excited. But first, do us a huge favor. Head on over to kingsofkill.com. That's our official website. There you can request episodes just like this one. And if you're not following us on social media, the fuck is wrong with you? You are missing the 31 kills of Halloween presented by us, the Kings of Kill. Follow us on Instagram, the Kings of Kill Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at KKill Podcast. On goddamn TikTok at Kings of Kill. If you're into that kind of thing. TikTokers. Looking at you, Steven. Looking at you, bro.
It's a good app.
And follow us on YouTube. Just search Kings of Kill Podcast. Folks, do us a huge favor. Whether you're listening on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or for free at kingsofkill.com, follow us on social media. Every single day, we are dropping a kill. Celebrating a kill from our favorite films. Every single day, we're dropping it. You got to follow us to find out. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. I'm having fun.
It's fun. He speaks
That
the truth.
Convincing. It's like someone's holding a gun to your head. It's fun.
You
I
know what?
promise.
It's fun.
Fun.
I'll say it.
Oh, it's some delicious coffee. Speaking of coffee.
What
We have a
coffee?
sponsor.
Where's that from?
Oh, this coffee? Well, the mug is only available at kingsofkill.com. If you watch this on YouTube, you can check it out. The coffee is from Hanson's Hakerings. Folks, if you are in the Willows area in California, go to hansonshakerings.com. Check out the menu. Fresh, brewed, delicious coffee beverages delivered right to you. That's hansonshakerings.com.
It was pretty good. I may say.
I love.
I'm gonna create a game. I want
Yep.
to drink every time you say Kings of Kill. You already said it like 20 times. And let's say it even more.
I'm going to also play a game. If you ever promote
Okay,
anything
Jigsaw.
ever on the show, do you want to play a game?
Yeah.
And look, we have a special guest.
Fucking kidding me?
Hold on. What was that question?
If his nephew could have a Pepsi. Can't text me, but
I love that.
my God.
Those of you that not watching,
Fucking cats in my room.
it's not exactly what you would call a professional environment. We're doing the best we can, though. Each and every week, we try to improve our show. We appreciate you sticking around. We love you for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Folks, head on over to kingskill.com. There, I said it again. Drink. There you can request episodes just like this one. We appreciate you for sticking with us. Now, let's share some scares. Let's count some kills. Steven, you remember when we first opened our big fat mouths, like barely even starting the podcast, and we mentioned this movie, and we totally chickened out.
We kind of chickened out. We did the original.
We did the 51 version, which is based on the 38 novella. written by John W. Campbell Jr. We found out that was an amazing movie. Actually, I mean, that was like
Yeah,
that blew me away.
it's fun. It's
It
just a
stood the test of
good
time
old
to
carrot
death.
monster of a time.
Oh man! For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, you gotta check it out. Available, all of our libraries available at kingskill.com.
Drink.
You drink. The game is you.
I don't have that much beverage left. I have 2 sips.
I told you to
Gotta
get
preserve it. God.
Oh, you should have ordered from Anson's Tankerings. That could have been delivered
Yeah, well.
right to you. John Carpenter's The Thing, 1982, rated R, 149-minute running time, directed by one of the greatest to do it of all time, John Carpenter. Universal Pictures and Turman Foster Company combined to produce this movie, written by Bill Lancaster. He did the screenplay, of course, adapted from Campbell's original story. Is that a relative of yours? What is that?
I wish it was, but it's not.
So you're the soup guy?
I'm the soup guy. We're not writers in our family.
How the hell are you doing this if you make all the soup?
All the soup, Campbell's soup.
Is that the new jingle?
Yeah, all the soup, Campbell's soup. That's it. And
it's just you saying that's it is the end of the commercial. Just you deadpan, all the soup, Campbell's
buy
soup.
our goddamn soup.
Oh, man. Starring Kurt Russell
In his prime.
as McCready. Got a perfect role for that. Carpenter fought for him, and I'm glad that worked out. Wilford Brimley, R.I.P., passed away last year. Mr. Diabetes himself.
The Cocoon Man himself.
You remember those commercials?
Oh, yeah. Diabetes.
Keith David as Childs. Oh, man. What a voice. Richard Masur as Clark. T.K. Carter as Knowles. David Clinton as Palmer. Richard Dysart as Dr. Cooper. Charles Hallahan, Vance Norris. Peter Maloney as George. Donald Moffat as Gary. Joel Paulus as Fuchs. Windows, played by Thomas G. Waits. And John Carpenter did a little cameo in this. He was one of the Norwegians.
What?
Yeah, one of the guys flying around at the very beginning.
I did not even know that.
Yep.
That's wild.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot that's wild about this movie.
Oh,
and
yeah. Nick Nolte turned down McCready? Yeah, that's wild.
What a jackass.
And Jeff Bridges. It would have been good with Jeff Bridges. Nick
Can
Nolte
you imagine
probably
to
not.
have the chin of chins, Jeff Bridges, taken on as McCready? They actually, the studio wanted some Australian from a bank commercial to do it, but
And
Carpenter.
he wrote it with Harrison Ford and Clint Eastwood in like the major leading role.
Carpenter had that in mind.
That's so wild. Harrison
News-
Ford, I could see.
Harrison Ford can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Clint
I believe.
Eastwood,
I believe
been slower.
Eastwood. It would have been slower. Eastwood just staring down people, chewing on a cigar, wearing an
he would have figured it out immediately by just staring. Be like, "Oh, you're the thing. Goodbye."
Just blows him out of the water.
Yeah, shoot some.
You think they would do that music if Clint Eastwood was in there?
Oh yeah. He's like, he would just tell the cast, be like, "If you guys can't do that, then you're the thing. Bye," and then kill him. They would have to trek through the snow, and then they'd have a shootout. Be tight.
Are you the thing? Well, are you, punk?
Negative 40 degrees out here. Do you feel cold, punk?
Well, Carpenter it was off the heels of doing Escape from New York, got along really well with Kurt Russell. And after he couldn't get, the studio said no, and they wanted to do some like Aussie guy. And after some reads, Carpenter said, "I'm just a guy." Kurt Russell, who actually auditioned for the role when they were first being pitched around. In fact, Hooper from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he wrote one of the drafts of the script. He parted ways because he had a different vision. He wanted to make it the Moby Dick of like Antarctica. That was kind of his vibe. And Carpenter
Captain Creedy would have been a Captain Ahab.
Yeah, exactly. And I can see that working, but Carpenter had a vision for
not casting females and be like, all dudes
well, the
camp
reason
out.
he thought that is he said it's he was really inspired by the first one, by 51, the Hawks production. But
If that guy directed it.
well, that's the whole thing.
Who knows?
Hawks is who we think actually directed it. Neebe is the guy who was the director. But we'll never know. We'll never know. If and more on that interesting mystery, kingshill.com, our back catalog. It's right there.
What was that, our 3rd episode?
It was really early on. I mean, we're running roughshod. Those are rough episodes.
Yeah,
but
don't listen to it. No.
I'm thinking for some of those that are just awesome. Is that what I think it is?
I try to sneak it in there.
On the day we have a video sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah, good segue. Good recovery.
Yeah,
right
I tried
there.
to like play it off, but it didn't work.
Carpenter just knew Kurt would be a perfect fit for it. And Carpenter had about a year to work on this, which at the time was a long time. He was really glad that he got that long.
Yeah, because it took Kurt Russell a whole year to grow that beard and hair. It is so good looking. That cowboy hat on, shit.
Let's though give a standing ovation to the real winners, and that is the production crew and the effects artists. Let's get some love. Get some love. They deserve it. They deserve it. Let's give some love to Rob Botton, who led all of the effects. He
Best effects.
lived on set for a year and 1 week. He slept there. He worked 7 days a week. He never went home. Literally, he lived there. He worked his ass off to make what might be arguably the best effects in movie history, along with that one scene from American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, it's definitely not Paris.
And
sucks.
I was trying not to say that. I'm like, I hope I got that right.
Yeah, it's London.
And then in Alien.
Yeah.
Those might be the best effects, practical effects in movie history.
Well, yeah, because Carpenter didn't want another person in a suit, like another monster in a suit. So he's like, you know what, fuck that. Bring on the effects. And
his only demand was I will not allow a person to be in a suit on this production. I'll take care of the feel. I'll get the mood. I need my crew to set up. No suits whatsoever. I want everything to be practical. In fact, they even did some claymation stop animation, and he got rid of it because the choppiness.
Smart man.
Took away from the move. It's very smart crew. So Rob Botton, who led everything, designed everything. Man, just I can't say enough good things about him. The man is a goddamn genius. Stan Winston, who created the creatures. And I mean, how many different renditions of this thing is there in the film?
Oh, at least 8.
I mean, it's insane. Peter Curran, who did optical effects. Albert Whitlock was the matte artist. The scenes of distant snowy tundra were painted. In fact, when they discovered the ship, that's a picture. They got the idea because that's what they did in the OG, in the original 51 movie. Suzanne Turner, who made the models, that model in the beginning is about the size of like 3 or 4 dinner plates. It's made of wood, metal, and has 144 working lights on it. The model still exists today. Because I forgot at the beginning where they have that spaceship fly in, like Predator. I totally forgot that. It reminds me, I have like the Millennium Falcon. You know what I mean? That like you build when you're a kid.
You have the Lego set?
I don't know if it's the Lego set. I remember having a Millennium Falcon. I have no idea where it is. There's so many toys. Falcon.
I was gonna say it's not a Vulcan. It's not.
I can't say
fucking Spock.
That was really hard for you to do. I can't say Walmart very well either. Like Wolf, Walmart, it all just is a weird noise in my mouth.
Wolf.
Wolf.
What? Walmart is hard.
Walmart.
Walmart.
I have difficulty
Diabetes.
Damn it. This is a great show.
This is an episode where we can say diabetes.
Oh my God. Produced by David Foster. Dean Cundy, who was director of photography, did a great job. Great guy. Yeah. Did a great job making the tundra of Alaska, where they filmed the exterior shots, making it look desolate, making it known that you are isolated from the world, and then making everything look claustrophobic once they were in the set, which was filmed on a Universal Studio backlot. Todd Ramsey edited this thing. He did a great job, and John Lloyd, production designer. Imagine the pain in the ass it must have been doing the production design. Like, every single scene is a huge effect.
Dude, it's wild. It's like one of those movies that you just don't get bored in. Even that's the slow part. Like, this movie is so suspenseful. It's just full of suspense. You know? And that's how suspenseful it is.
Yeah, that's how suspenseful it is.
It's like a near perfect movie. It's got action, the suspense, the score is made by Pitbull, not Pitbull.
Oh,
it's by Ennio.
What in the?
I said Pitbull on accident.
What are you even doing?
I saw a bald person.
That's what you get. That's what you get for
How do you even say the guy that scored this perfect score? It's like the top. I don't know. It's like one of my favorite scores in a movie.
I always thought Carpenter did because he came up with
Halloween's
theme, because it's that simple and just epic.
Yeah.
But no, it's actually a famous spaghetti western.
Ennio Morricone.
We're gonna go with that. Close enough.
Ennio Morricone.
Yeah. I mean, just absolutely nailed it. In fact.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Oh,
it's amazing.
It's
so
epic.
Chills.
Oh, it's just fantastic. And that's set to just normal shots too. And you're just like, I trust anyone here.
For like 5 minutes, the opening 5 minutes has that.
Great. It's great. It's amazing. I love this movie. Every time I watch this, I get a new idea, a new theory. You know, I'm just not sure who did what, who changed when. I just can't tell. CBS edited out 12 minutes of this when they first aired it, premiering in '86.
Yeah, well, CBS also has Young Sheldon, so they're a piece of shit.
How dare you mention that show when we're talking about the thing? Had only a $15 million budget. How did they do this for $15 million?
You can do that washing cars and then go make this movie.
$15 million. I don't know whose car you're washing, bro. I would like to help. I'll do the wheels. Oh man. It made $3 million opening weekend, went on to make 20 worldwide. So I mean, really, it just broke even. This was considered trash when it came out.
Well, it went up against another big boy, Blade Runner, which also flopped, and then later now it's like one of the best films.
They both went up against E.T.
That's true. Yeah,
that's what they meant. Yeah, Amblin won. Surprise, surprise.
Damn it, Spielberg.
I heard someone say that, Roger Ebert said that this film is only good for filling up barf bags, and I was like, "You son of a bitch! How dare you?"
I mean, it's gruesome and it's pretty.
He hated this movie, and he shat all over it. But I heard a reviewer say, I'm going to butcher this, but something along the lines of, since Blade Runner flopped to E.T., this flopped to E.T., maybe if they put Kurt Russell on a motorcycle, put the thing in a basket, like basket case and have him jump the moon, then it would have won.
I believe it. I would have watched that.
And since you're not laughing, I'm gonna have our live studio audience here. I'm gonna have them do it instead. Remember watching like Family Matters in Urkel? Like they would just laugh at fucking everything. And I truly believe when I was a kid, like, God, that audience thinks everything is funny.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was in a live audience, most of them, but
they still typed in audio, yeah.
Yeah.
And had like SNL does it too. They say applaud now.
Yeah, and those parts usually are pretty funny, like in Full House when they used it and all that shit. But then when you watch Big Bang Theory and you see the laugh traps, you're like, oh shit, that's what I'm supposed to laugh at, those jokes, but they're not funny.
First off, stop watching that. It's bad for you.
I never watched it. I've seen one full episode to try it out, and you know what? I hate my life. I'm ending the show right after this.
Besides the novella, which was written kind of like a play, it was a lot of like unnecessary external dialogue to explain stuff. There's also comic adaptations which sound like a lot of fun. I got to get my hands on those. In the original story, the only thing missing was that the thing had like telepathy. It was like communicating with its hosts before taking it over and stuff. In the 51 film, which Carpenter loved and respected, which is why you see the famous fire scene, which was replicating the first full fire.
Took a lot from that movie.
History. Yeah, and all in respect, all with love. In the 51 version, they made him like a plant-based creature with like kind of like a Frankenstein vibe, you know?
Yeah.
And then it was a choice. It wasn't a bad choice. It worked. It really worked for the film. In this one, though, they really had fun. They really had fun with it. There's a remake that came out as a prequel in 2011.
Oh, yeah. With the same name.
What were they thinking?
So, I watched that for the first time about a year ago.
Yeah.
And, like, I never wanted to watch it, but I had to because the A to Z challenge that I did.
Tell people about that.
I have a shitload of movies, near 1,000 or something, and some of them I haven't seen before. You know, I just pick up movies randomly. And I did all of them from A to Z in order. And I finally got to the thing, or like the prequel one. And I always said, you know, I don't care for it. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to ruin, you know, the original, whatever. But it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. You know what I mean?
I like how they basically combined character elements from the 51 version and 82, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah. They combined character elements, like especially like the doctors directly from the 51 version. The lead is totally based on a McCready vibe. Back to why Carpenter picked an only male cast. He said it's just been a long time since he's seen an all male cast and wanted to know what it would be like with that, with just that dynamic. He just wanted to explore it, and it just happened that like as he was writing it, it just happened to be the script, and he was like, "Oh, I just made an all male cast." He was thinking about, he hadn't seen a film with like all one gender in like a long time.
Yeah.
And like when he made the final version of the script, he's like, would you look at that? Okay.
Whoops.
And he also wanted to avoid, like, he didn't want anyone to have a romance in it. He just wanted, he wanted everyone to have like, they're all working there. They're at a research station, right?
Yeah.
So they're all military or scientists or doctors. You know what I mean? He didn't want any of them to be involved in the other. So he made them all presumably straight, and he didn't have any females there. And that was his only idea behind that. The remake, which is a prequel, which is I don't know.
No, it's a straight prequel. The ending perfectly lines up with
It does. The ending
the version, which was I like the ending. I liked how it was like great at how they did that. It's probably the best part to talk about that prequel.
It looks like shit.
Oh, for sure. And they used a lot of CGI, which pissed me off too.
They made someone spend forever making real effects for that film, and in post production decided to kick that shit out and replace with CGI, and it just took you out of the whole film. It ruined that magic of cinema.
Yeah, and you're trying to make a prequel to The Thing, like something that's so well known.
The best practical effects ever, man.
Yeah, and you're just gonna go CGI. Like, what on earth?
Popped out. They got chicken shit move is what it was. Yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It's like George Lucas the damn thing when he remade Star Wars.
His own movies.
Digital bullshit. Stop it.
Yeah. And it made it worse.
but Carpenter's version, yeah, I mean, how does a movie 50 years its senior look astounding to this day?
Yeah. And then you're going to remake your own movie and make it worse.
Come on,
why
man.
would you... I don't know. The whole Star Wars adding the CGI special editions is so fucking dumb. The music in the cantina on Return of the Jedi. You're going to change the Ewok song? Oh, dude, I'll fucking go off.
Yeah.
The Sarlacc pit? Oh, my God.
God, it's getting intense. It's getting intense. I'm getting nervous. Oh, God.
And then, it ate Boba Fett. The Sarlacc pit automatically has tentacles now. Jesus. Thanks, George Lucas. Fuck yourself.
I can't wait for sound bites to be robbed in this episode.
Oh, and then the Lucas fans. Oh, but he brought us Jar Jar Binks. You know what?
Oh, Jar Jar, stop it. Stop it. Jar Jar, you never stood a chance, man. I love Carpenter's The Thing. It is subtle. It is understated. It leaves so much of the imagination, even though it shows an incredible amount of detail. It has this ambiguous ending. It's purposefully unexplained. It's got very realistic, simple characters,
and
understandable motives, likable characters, realistic. No one is over the top. No one is explaining their heart out at any time. Very realistic scenarios. The score, as we said, is absolutely amazing. Giant, beautiful, sweeping shots that make you feel isolated. This outstretched,
I feel claustrophobic every time I watch that movie.
Yeah, because once
I get cold.
Those buildings, to get that cold, because obviously when they were in Alaska shooting, it was cold, but on the lot, was doing interior shots. What they did is they just wanted humidity, so they played with the AC. So it was chilly, but not really cold enough to actually need that gear. But outside, it's 90 degrees, and they'd walk out
and act like it's cold.
Everyone kept getting confused. So not only are you having all these people going to lunch at Universal wearing fucking parkas and down jackets, but half of them have bloody necks and gunshot wounds and missing limbs and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it took so long to make it that they didn't want to disassemble their wardrobe. So they went to lunch looking severely wounded.
It's just wild. I would have loved to be on that lot during just watching probably Harrison Ford walk out as Blade Runner, and then you're just in a parka, hey, what's up? Just all bloody. He's like, how's your day?
And they wouldn't be able to tell that you're Kurt Russell because you got this huge beard, you got this long hair.
Yeah, that's true.
Giant
cowboy hat. Yeah.
And you're eating a fucking Lunchable next to Harrison Ford. I can't imagine.
What if they're all sitting at lunch and they're just still in their characters? They can't trust each other while they're sitting at in the cafeteria.
The paranoia leaves them.
They stayed in their characters the entire year.
Carpenter sent them off to Alaska so they actually could get that bond in camaraderie, because he wanted to be like, hey, trust each other. Here you go. Bye. And he kept the production crew back a bit so they could form a normal bond. On the way, this is great. On the way over, driving on this crazy hilly mountain, right? You know that scene from Out Cold when everybody passes out in the car and they start
Oh yeah.
spinning it and they wake them up and they're screaming, think they're gonna die. They all pass out on this long bus drive on a hilly escape, and they wake up to the bus driver screaming, "Slide, slide!" They were about to fall off the mountain.
Shit. And that was the little prank by them?
No, that was real.
Oh, they were actually going to die. Oh shit. Well, the bonding experience is great. I wish Michael Bay did that for like Armageddon, because I don't believe that they're all friends. And maybe AJ, Ben Affleck wouldn't have slept with Bruce Willis' daughter. If they had a little more bonding.
That was a quick transition. You were thinking about that for a minute, weren't you?
No, actually, yeah.
That lives.
I spit that out.
At the forefront of your brain. That just lives there. The epic title card. You know how they did that?
Oh my god!
They stretched out a garbage bag and lit it on fire.
And it spelt the thing.
It just burned through that. And the first time they did, they only got the NG. And Carpenter says, "Cut. You're missing some."
Dude, it's so iconic. That tear through the screen, and it just comes out of nowhere, and the sound is so loud. You're like, Jesus Christ.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so rewatchable. You get, it's an epic whodunit mystery, and you get new nuances and new ideas every time you watch it. I've watched this, I don't know, 40 times. Still have new ideas. Still have new theories.
Yeah, I'm like, well, when did Wheels when did this guy get? And then you watch, you're like, okay, so he went in the room with him. And then you just totally forget about it. Like the next time you watch it, you're like still surprised. You're like, oh shit.
Whether it's like, hey, whose shadow was this? Who first got infected or assimilated or copied or whatever? Like, you just don't. Who got exposed?
Dog it is.
Who's really going to make it? Yeah, even which dog it is. It's that dog was an actual wolf, by the way, and it didn't bark. And there's a few shots where it's just looking at you. The trainer of that dog said, if he's staring at you,
you're dead.
Calm down and back away, because he's thinking he's threatened. That's half those cool shots of that dog trying to eat somebody.
And that dog grew up to be Cujo.
Close.
Saint Bernard, wolf, same thing.
Yeah, super close. Beethoven.
What's cool about this is it spawned like 20 years later, Xbox. I forget what studio did it, but the video game.
It looks so good though.
The graphics wouldn't hold up today. It just looked like Resident Evil 1 or 2.
How was the game though? I heard there's
game.
It's you choose
everything is amazing. It was like it's on the original Xbox, so like we're talking 2005-ish. And
you're a big Xbox fan. Could you still acquire that game?
I have it in a case and everything. I still have that shit.
I would be.
I don't give up my games.
I would be interested if we could find a way to play that together.
If I could,
or Twitch channel. Yeah,
I would definitely replay it. It was you're the cleanup crew. You're the crew that comes out after the little.
That's a great premise. Signal. That's a great premise.
It's basically a sequel to the movie.
Yeah.
Like if you wander around outside all the fire and stuff, because you show up and the place is still on fire.
Yeah.
So it's not terribly much longer. You can wander off and you find the bodies of Childs and McCready. Well, you go to the ending scene.
Right.
And only one of them is there.
That's very interesting.
With the bottle that they drink at the end of the movie,
in
between them, but you don't know who left because the body's hunched over. It's just like an Easter egg. I feel like there's nothing that talks about it.
I love. There's a couple of theories. Like some fans believe that the two theories is what give it away, and that is one. There's one fan theory of the breath theory, that only humans have that carbon dioxide, like foggy breath coming out in the cold, and that's how you tell. And another theory is called the light theory, which Carpenter said that's not true, but he also said in a different interview Well, yeah, light is the trick. Light's how I determine who's who. And I'm like, what? So
Like lighting?
sometimes, like light reflection in people's eyes.
Okay, so that's like how you could tell Blade Runner if they're a replicant or whatever that is.
Yeah, yeah. So that's. But who knows?
Yeah.
It makes the whole rewatch just like it makes you just stare at people like left and right. But this is one of my favorite movies of all time. I mean, I can't get enough of this movie. I really can't.
No, it's one of the best sci-fi. Not even best sci-fi horror. It's best sci-fi and maybe horror.
Say if one more person knocks on your door, he's going on the show.
Right?
I'm gonna get you one of those goddamn signs. Recording.
I know.
Now.
I need to make one.
This is one of the few films that reveals the monster early on, doesn't ruin it whatsoever.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
shows you.
Yeah,
100%.
right off the bat, and it explains. They explain it pretty early on too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The story is the paranoia.
Oh, for sure. The mystery on guessing who it is. Let's take the blood work scene. One of the best. I don't know. It's like one of my favorite scenes. Like in
That's
movie
from the
history.
original story too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's when they have to draw blood, and since the thing is afraid of fire or heat or whatever, the blood would attack or
Only
react
weakness.
to
It's
the
its own
heat.
weakness. Is heat.
Yeah. And that whole scene goes off.
It's
It
fantastic.
makes me smile every single time. Every time.
But it just goes to show you like a master suspense. Like when Carpenter is brave enough to put his name on things, experimental things that don't always work, but man, when he is on point, there's no one better, really. I mean, he can set the mood and bring that tension.
Yeah. Halloween killed it right there. First movie. Well, I don't know if that's his first movie, but
It's not his first, but that was definitely his first.
I mean, his big one, breakout.
That was his breakout film. This really stands the test of time. Like, I just can't believe that it's been 50 years and it still looks this damn good.
Yeah, all the effects and shit. My God. Every time I watch this a lot. This is number 2 of my all-time favorite movies. Like, of all the movies. Yeah, it's number 2. I never stop. I watch this at least once a month. Maybe more. I can't stop.
Carpenter wanted to make a sequel where both McCready and Childs survive, but severely frostbitten. They both survive, and you still don't know who's who, and that's the sequel.
Interesting. That's the game.
It is. That's yeah, but that's literally the game of the whole movie too, and it is a game.
Yeah.
It's a play along, because it doesn't tell you. Carpenter won't tell you who's who. The actors don't know who's who. Kurt Russell said, "I don't know if I was human or not," and that's amazing.
Yeah, no, that's perfect writing.
A few of my questions are, of course, we could ask the question, who's who at the end? We're never going to know, and it's going to change slightly depending on what you're thinking, depending on like what clues you picked up to the film. But some more interesting question besides the simple one, who's who at the end, is who sabotaged the blood bank?
That's a good question. Damn, that's a really good
Right?
question.
Who did that? And whose shadow is patient 0, the first one infected, the first one assimilated? Carpenter had a crew member stand in for that shadow early on just to keep it ambiguous.
Smart.
Just so it doesn't actually look like anyone. So every time someone's like, oh, it's clearly that guy. No, it's not. It's the fucking boom.
Who opened the... Well, they let the dog kennel.
Who let the dogs out?
Who let the dogs out?
Who? Oh, oh.
No, it's yeah, I forgot. I always forget they never explain that shadow. Yeah.
Those are my
Blood bank though. That's a good question.
who did that. Also, when was the doc replicated?
When was any of them?
That's the timeline doesn't make sense.
The only one
Also,
you know is fuck, I already forgot his name. The bald guy.
Oh, he was the first one to be discovered, right? With the hands, right?
Yeah. You can tell when he is, but everyone else, man.
So one thing's perfect. This is what happens. It takes time to assimilate. Obviously, it generally ruins your clothes because you get all morphed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's gonna
Like,
rip and tear because you get buff as shit or something.
That's why. That's why. But if it gets scared, that's when it panics and just uses everything it knows. You know what I mean? That's when it morphs out, freaks out because it wants to get safe. It wants to be a chameleon. And when it doesn't assimilate properly and you catch it, that's where you get these weird deformities and extremities, and that's where it gets violent. Otherwise, it's not violent. It just wants to damage things so it can grow. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily evil. It just wants to replicate and survive like any other animal, like any other creature, you know?
Exactly. So humans are the evil ones in this movie. This creature just wants to live, man.
That was an interesting premise. That was an interesting premise in the 51 version. One thing that's really cool is that we learned from the blood bank scene is that this organism can be microscopic. It can survive in a drop of blood and become huge and epic. That's the crazy thing. So my question is, another big thing that I'm confused with is that when it assimilates you, do you know? Because it's not copying you and throwing you away. It's inside of you. It's becoming you.
Yeah, I guess
like there's no bodies left over. It is you. How wild is that? How wild is that?
Never
Do you
thought
know?
of that. Would you even know?
Yeah.
Until it fully takes you over.
It makes me have It makes me have sympathy for the doctor who freaked out, then said, "Please, I just want to go back inside."
I think that's when he was. Yeah.
Is he being manipulated by it? Is he it all the way, or does he not know?
Yeah,
how sad is that?
Bonkers.
He lost his shit.
Acted like someone stole his Pokemon cards, but
after he played that video game of inflation, you know. It's so interesting. I mean, so many different theories, all and over. Special effects gone wrong. Couple of things happened. You know, the scene where his head is being stretched and pulled off and his skin snapping. They did that with plastic and gums. And when they stretched it, the whole crew was complaining it smelled really bad and they wanted to hurry up and get it over with. Well, it smelled bad because the plastic combination was releasing flammable fumes into the room, right? Real small room.
Okay.
So when they went to, they only had one shot. This took several months to make. They had one shot to do, and it looks absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
They went to film it and realized, hey, for make sure everything's congruent, we need to put a little fire in the scene because remember, everything's on fire in this room. They just torched the place. A small fire, boom, the set blows the fuck up. Everyone's covered in soot and ash, and all that work, months worth of work, is gone, ruined. They rebuilt the whole thing in 24 hours.
Oh shit! And that's like the
Carpenter's
reveal too.
Do this. Yeah, that's a huge reveal.
It's like one of the best parts of the movie too.
It's so good when the heavyset guy Hallahan, when he's on the table and first when they made that double, one of the crew barged in and said, "Come on, there's like this is 50 years ago." He said, "Come on, there's ladies on set. Let's get decent," because this fat guy sitting there with his shirt open. It took him till he was this far away to realize, oh my god, that's a model. They get him right down to his chest. They were even threading his chest hair to match his patterns. It was crazy.
Dude, that's wild.
It's so well that it's just a dummy. Then when his stomach opens up and then to a mouth and clamps down, they hired a stunt double who was an amputee, lost his hands in an industrial accident. They put prosthetics on him, had him reach in, and a
Oh,
big smash on it. So when it comes up, really, he doesn't have his hands. He said filming that gave him chills because it made him have ghost pains of when he lost his hands.
oh shit. Yeah, I would
Can you
imagine.
imagine that? Oh
Dude,
man,
that's wild. I did not know that. Yeah, that whole scene. I just like how they're talking, and it's just you don't even think anything's gonna happen. Like it's not leading up to anything. It's
so
just
chill. It's so chill.
it's
They're just
super chill.
well, not chill. I mean, there is
I mean, they're
drama
yelling, but
trying to. The guy has a bum heart, but you're just thinking like, oh my god, this guy's gonna die, or they're gonna rescue him. You don't expect his body to open up.
his chest just opens and just eats this guy's ass.
1 second he's in cardiac arrest. The next second he's the goddamn fucking plant from Little Shop of Horrors. What the fuck happened?
Exactly.
Just wild. Oh man. I remember. Carpenter. So, like we both said, don't give me a guy in a suit. I want some real effects.
Yeah.
He kept demanding this scene, and the art department said, this isn't like ordering a pizza, right? We gotta really work on this. He kept calling every day, being like, hey, can we do this too? Yeah, we'll add that to the list. Are we shooting for 5 years, or is this due next month?
5 years. Jesus Christ.
I can't say enough good things about this movie. Really.
There's
really,
too much. There's too much
you
things. It could go on forever. It's gonna last forever. There's no. I don't know. I would love to see this franchise keep going, but you really can't. It's one of those.
This is one of those few films. It's a one shot. It's never going to be. This is.
They tried the prequel. It wasn't great. It did sum up like the questions like in the intro, like why were the Russians even hanging out with these dogs? Like why were they even hanging out with aliens? It answered that weirdly, and the video game sequel was actually badass. Like I totally recommend that game if anybody ever finds it. But yeah, I don't think anybody else should even try to do another adaptation. It's just perfect.
Don't remake it. Feel free to use the story and make your own maybe sequel.
I guess
yeah.
Spin-off. That's what I.
But don't remake it. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail.
True. It's just like remaking Jaws. You really can't.
No.
Just go die or something.
Jesus Christ. So worth it.
If you're gonna remake Jaws, go die.
This movie is epic. It's a masterclass of horror. It is timeless. It's 50 years later and it still looks amazing.
Perfect. It's so perfect that I'm gonna rate it.
Oh, here we go.
5 coworkers I wouldn't trust either out of 5. With a side, let's put with a side dash of Walter Brimley's diabetes.
Oh my! You were gonna get applause for the 5 out of 5, but now you're done. No love for you.
Yeah, it's a 5 out of 5. It's perfect.
It's great.
Perfect score. Yeah. Dark, ominous tone that just sets the mood. It's claustrophobic. It's cold as shit.
And one of the few, like when people say a film's rewatchable, we hear that all the time. It's so rewatchable. I love this movie. This film is the definition of rewatchable. You're gonna get a new take on this every time you see it.
You watch the intro credits, you watch the outro credits. Restart it 3 times.
Dude, I saw something I've never seen before. There is a scene where I forget his name, the scrawny guy.
Wheels.
Wheels,
or the one where he's like, "Well, I could think of the chopper." He's like, "No, let's have McCready do it." Well, thanks for thinking about me. He says it so weird. Well, thanks for thinking about me, and then he sits back down.
He's got no fucking pants on in one of the scenes.
Oh yeah, I think that's Wheels.
Do you mean Windows?
Or Windows. Wheels.
I was like, who the fuck is Wheels?
Yeah.
I keep picking Professor X and then that wheelchair bound kid on the old like Burger King commercial.
Oh.
Oh, man. The fact that shit movies like Mac and Me got more love than Thing when it came out is just a
God, did it? I don't think so.
The thing, maybe not. If you haven't seen this movie, you've got to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. This is a must see on anyone's list.
Yeah. You know what's also weird? Weird trivia.
I'm afraid that you're already laughing.
No, it's not crazy. It's not like fucking Kurt Russell cameo in Growing Pains or something. But Quentin Tarantino used some of the unused score from The Thing for Hateful Eight.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Same composer?
Yeah.
Really?
And the funny thing is, he won those Razzie Awards, those like awards for like the shittiest thing you can do, like worst acting of the year. Here's a Razzie. So he won a Razzie for The Thing, but then he won an Oscar for Hateful Eight, and it's just unused, music. And he's just like, here, Tarantino, use that, and then he won an Oscar.
It goes to show you that award shows are complete bullshit.
They're total bullshit. Until we go and win for best web series.
Yeah, I'm sure we're high on the demand for that one. Hey,
I'll submit up.
Top 200. In fact, top 150. That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
That is not bad. Hey, Twitter poll.
Twitter poll from episode 47. Waxwork. If you were in this wax museum, which exhibit would you find most exciting? And I asked Dracula, Mummy, Werewolf, Zombies. Mummy took last, which is disappointing.
That was a great scene.
Yeah, it was a very good scene. Dracula won by a fucking landslide. 54% of the voters.
Wow. Do you think it won just because of like the insane notoriety Dracula has?
It might have been just how beautiful that actress was. But it was also probably the longest scene.
After we filmed, Steven was talking about how hot she was. This actress from Waxwork for days later.
Dude,
he looked up the whole filmography and anything.
Oh, I definitely did. She's beautiful. Yeah.
You've been on an 18-day bender watching every film she's ever been in.
Dracula was probably the best exhibit in that whole movie because I think it was like the longest. I mean, it showed the longest shit, so I think
had the most production. Yeah, and it was one of the first ones too. So yeah,
second, Werewolf was the first.
You're right. Werewolf is the first.
Yeah.
Don't know what that is. Hey, horror news.
Horror news. Ridley Scott is producing a Boston Strangler movie with Keira Knightley in it.
What?
Wild, right? Matt Ruskin is writing and directing. He did Crown Heights. I don't know the dude.
I don't know him.
Keira Knightley's set to star. She's portraying some first reporter to connect the murders and break the story. The Boston Strangler. Looks like early 60s shit.
Great. Love it. I love that premise. I'm down.
Expecting to begin filming later this year. Yeah.
I'm down.
Boston Strangler.
Coming out today, the new VHS hits Netflix.
Shudder.
Oh, Shudder exclusive?
I think it might be a Shudder exclusive. If it's
really?
on Netflix, I'll edit this part out so I don't look stupid.
We don't edit a goddamn thing, and you edit this one thing out. Oh, now I'm intelligent. No, it's all right. It's either one.
It's either one.
It drops tomorrow. Shudder's like $7. It's super inexpensive. Shudder is like the Netflix of horror.
Yeah, it's
Shudder's
good
an
shit.
absolutely fantastic thing. In fact, Shudder, if you'd like to sponsor,
Shout out to
Kings of
Shudder.
Podcast at Gmail.
Shudder's it doesn't have all the good horror movies. Like it doesn't have Aliens or any of that.
But it
popular
has
shit, but it has like
a curated library of
yes,
fun horror.
yeah. It's like if I wanted zombie movies, they have a genre just zombie movies,
Yeah.
torture, fucking. They have some really cool genres.
It's our cup of tea or our cup of coffee. Anson's Hankering. Thanks for sponsoring.
Nice.
Next week.
What's next week, Zach? Tell the people and me.
Well, not only are we having a killer week all October long, not only is this where the Killtober, not only is this where the Kings of Kill podcast was created in this very month, almost a year old now. We're approaching the end of season 1. Our season finale coming soon. You got to stay tuned. Also, follow us on social media. You don't miss our 31 kills of Halloween. We're putting out every single day. We're having fun all month long. And next week, we're going for a classic from our childhood.
Classic from my childhood. Let me think about this. Ernest Scared Stupid.
God, ever since Ernest didn't win some poll, you're obsessed with Ernest. If we get
Hocus Pocus,
a request, God, that is such an underrated movie. That's a fun horror movie.
Fuck, such a good singer.
Next week, we're covering the original It.
Oh, all right. Little Tim Curry special.
Like we were just like boys who first saw each other after a long summer in a bar. Like,
oh,
hey! Next week, we are covering It. Stay tuned. We've got some big shows in store for the rest of this month.
The whole thing, or like part 1 and part 2?
The whole thing.
All right. Well, just saying.
We would do part 1 and part 2, but man, we got too much to cover. This month is jam-packed.
We're jammed and packed for this month.
Great job. But don't forget kingsofkill.com, where you can request your episodes today, plus get some sweet merch like this
and
amazing.
Ask questions, god damn it.
Ask us questions. We've got something special coming for you as a thank you. Submit your questions to kingsofkillpodcast@gmail.com or on Twitter or Instagram. It doesn't matter. Hit us up. Instagram, Kings of Kill Podcast. Twitter, KKill Podcast. The fucking TikTok at Kings of Kill. And on YouTube, just search Kings of Kill Podcast. We love you guys. We're so glad you're here. Stick with us all October long. We're celebrating the 31 kills of Halloween. All Killtober. My name is Zach.
I am Steven.
And together we are
the Kings of Kill.
Just do it with me one time, you son of a bitch.
I did.
Cutting you off might be my favorite thing to do.